The history of warfare is a story of innovation, new weapons, new tactics, each designed to outdo the last. For a golden age, one formation stood above all, the Macedonian Phalanx. Under King Philip II and his son Alexander the Great, the Phalanx became a near-perfect weapon, conquering from Greece to India. Philip transformed part-time soldiers into a professional, disciplined army, forging a new kind of state built on military might. The Phalanx's reputation was legendary. Armies would break at the mere sight of its advance. Alexander used the Phalanx as an unbreakable center, while his elite cavalry struck the enemy's flanks, a devastating combination. At battles like Cheronea and Gaugamela, the Phalanx was the key to victory and the foundation of an empire. For over a century, it dominated ancient battlefields, seemingly invincible. But perfection is an illusion. Every system has a weakness. The Phalanx's own strengths would eventually become its downfall. Its story is one of both triumph and inevitable vulnerability. The genius of Philip's Phalanx was the sarissa, a 6-meter pike wielded with both hands. Phalangites carried only small shields, relying on the dense forest of spear points for protection. In battle, the first 5 ranks projected their sarissas forward, creating an impenetrable wall. The rest angled theirs to cover gaps and deflect missiles. Facing this formation was terrifying, a moving forest of steel, nearly impossible to attack head-on. The Phalanx advanced relentlessly, grinding down enemies with sheer discipline and unity. For Alexander, it was a tool of absolute reliability, anchoring his bold tactics. The Phalanx's offensive defense inspired terror and broke enemy morale before the fighting even began, but its strength depended on cohesion. Any disruption could be fatal. The Phalanx power came at a cost in flexibility. It excelled on flat plains, but rough terrain could shatter its cohesion, opening fatal gaps. Its flanks and rear were vulnerable. Phalangites, lightly armoured and wielding long pikes, couldn't turn quickly to defend themselves. Pivoting the massive formation was slow and risky. A flanking attack could cause chaos and collapse. Alexander protected his phalanx with cavalry and light infantry, but his successors relied too heavily on the formation itself. Once engaged, the phalanx was nearly impossible to disengage or redeploy. If outmaneuvered, it was trapped, its men locked into a forward grind with few options for retreat. The phalanx was a weapon of decisive, head-on clashes, but its rigidity was a fatal flaw. In the end, adaptability would prove more valuable than brute strength. As Hellenistic power waned, Rome rose with a new military system, the legion. The legion's maniples operated independently, giving Roman commanders unmatched tactical flexibility. Roman soldiers carried the gladius and pila, protected by large scutum shields, perfect for close combat and rapid movement. In battle, Romans disrupted enemy formations with pila, then closed in for brutal shield-led assaults. At Cynoscephalae, Roman legions faced the Macedonian phalanx on broken terrain. When the Macedonian right advanced, a Roman tribune led a flanking attack on their exposed rear. The Phalangites, unable to turn, were cut down. The Macedonian line collapsed. Roman adaptability and initiative triumphed over Macedonian rigidity. The age of the phalanx was ending. Flexibility had defeated brute force. The battlefield now belonged to those who could adapt. The final blow to the phalanx came at Pydna, 168 BC. The Macedonian phalanx initially drove the Romans back, but as the fight moved to rough ground, its formation fractured. Roman legionaries exploited the gaps, slipping inside the spear wall. Once within reach, the Phalangites' long pikes and small shields were useless against Roman swords and shields. The result was a massacre. Macedon was destroyed, and the Phalanx era ended. The Roman legion's flexibility and initiative had proven superior. The lesson: rigidity, no matter how powerful, is brittle. Adaptability is the key to survival, on the battlefield and beyond. The Phalanx was a marvel of military genius, but its fate was sealed by its inability to change. In war, as in life, those who cannot adapt are destined to fall.